All right. Not sure you can hear that. There was a lightning flash and then immediately a rumble right above us. So I'm now in my in the rig. I was helping clean up camp and had some of the camping pots and pans in my hand, and I ran for the cabin. So yeah, today we're going to head out Alkali Lake and then through the Antelope, Hart Mountain Antelope Refuge, and then from there make it over finally to the Steens. Last time I was there was in 2014 for the Steens Mountain running camp. Sorry, 2004. Ooh, Steens Mountain's running camp when I was 17. So yeah, we get to go back there, maybe see some sights that I saw when I was a kid, and go a quick hike to the top and then to the Alvord Desert. So it's now day 2. And now it's very rainy. Oh, the windshield wipers work. That is a lot of muck going off of those. Lights on. There we go. All right, so even with a little bit of water on these dirt tracks, a little slick. Glad for that limited slip in the back. A little bit of slide. This is fun.
Really bad day.
Old Chevy?
Ford.
Oh, old Ford, yeah.
F100.
Yep.
There's difference in days for it.
Quite the hit.
Get the shock off and come put it on my truck. The truck seems to be good. I wish I was in something slightly faster for this part, but
Yeah, you can see how lots of curves.
oh, gorgeous though.
Not a bad restroom. It's lots of use, I'm sure. All right, so Dale has found on Onyx that there is a gemstone prospecting area, and it looks like we just found it. It's kind of hidden, but yeah, we're gonna go see if we can find some gemstones. Apparently you can legally get sunstone here, so we're gonna go poke around and take a little bit of a break and see what we can find.
There are currently sunstones there, potentially.
You're working really hard on digging.
Yeah. I think it seems like work. I'm gonna see if there's any just, hanging out on the surface.
All right, I dug a hole. Did not find any sunstone. So this is the public sunstone prospecting area. Apparently there's all sorts of prospects around here, but this is the one that is public, and yeah, I didn't find anything. So we're gonna move on. Alrighty, we are at Camp Hart Mountain in the Antelope Wildlife Refuge, which is really cool. There's a camp host here. This would be quite a remote place to be able to be a camp host, but probably very peaceful. It's really beautiful out here. Really cool building from the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, that was left standing. A lot of those buildings were indeed tore down, but this one's left over, and so yeah, this they want to be restoring it in the next couple of years, which is cool. So we're gonna drive up on that plateau right behind me and head over to French Glen from there. Alrighty, so we just took a nice dip in the hot springs. There's a lot of hot springs around this part of the country. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way through the Wildlife Refuge. We're just going to explore this a little bit and then eventually make our way over to the Steens. I'm really excited about that. Alright, so we're at the other 205.
Highway 205, it's somewhat less busy than Interstate 205, suffice to say.
Probably.
I haven't seen another car yet. But we're going to go on up to French Glen, brim all the tanks, and then figure out a way across the Steens.
Also just learned, overdrive in this truck sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Dale just let me know. That's kind of normal. I thought I broke something else on the truck, but seems like we're fine. And temperature is just a little bit above middle, so I'm going to turn the AC off. And yeah, here we go to French Glen. Alright, so here we are at the French Glen Mercantile and the town of French Glen. So yeah, I haven't been here since 2004. Definitely a lot more stuff here than I remember. But then again, I was 17 years old. I was just really excited to go at the Steens Mountain running camp. But yeah, it's really cool. I got myself 20 bucks of diesel, which was $4.85 a gallon. So not very much, but the gas gauge is not, or the diesel gauge is not exactly accurate. So, just took a little bit of that, and we do have the reserve just in case. What I didn't get to do is actually go into some of these buildings, so it's cool to just hop in. A little eatery there. It's open for lunch, but we gotta get going. It's also not their lunchtime anymore, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, let's get going to the Steens. Starting to get a little warm. We're probably about 240, but I think we're almost to the top, so I'm going to keep going. I wonder how Jamie's doing. Definitely drove by the park where I stayed for Steens Mountain running camp. Pretty cool that I pretty much instantly recognized it. And then a lot of these roads, I remember doing some of the crazy things, like this road right here is the Predict-A-Mile, where you had to run for a mile, and then hopefully your mile, what you thought was a mile, was an actual mile. And then from the top, I'm going to be able to see the cross canyon hike that we got to do. So yeah, looks like we're just about at the top. Pretty excited. How's the truck? Ooh, I can feel the heat from here. All right, so Jamie made it up to Kiger Gorge, the overlook at least. It's a little on the warm side. ML's doing okay besides not getting any air. Blueberry's doing just fine, except for a little bit of overheating, and just look at this. This is absolutely spectacular.
Hell of a spot, ain't it?
It's not a bad view.
No.
Although over here, this cliff face looks a little foreboding. Right about there. All right, so the plan is to take off the hood off the Dodge to get it cooler. Piece of cake. So we're gonna take 2 bolts off, and that's going back there. There we go. There's the hood's now in the back, and no longer on the front of the truck, but it is now going to be way cooler in many different ways. Windy up here. Look at this view. There's Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Taking selfies. There it is. So desert we're going to, down there. Figure out how to get down there. Alright, just, casual walk. Almost 10,000 feet. We just got done hiking to the top of Steens Mountain, and the elevation's starting to feel it. I can feel the elevation. We went on just a little bit of hike to the summit and then around it a little bit. The views out here are just breathtaking. I wish a lot more people came out here, but at the same time, it's nice that there aren't a lot of people out here. So we're now going to go the rest of the loop road, and we're going to make our way down to the desert. And then at the desert, we're going to see if we can camp out there. It might be windy because it's very windy up here, so we'll see. As a web developer, wrote about these Kiger horses, and I think these are it. We found them. Alright, so hi from Fields. It is very windy. Very windy. Jamie has about a quarter tank of diesel left. They close at 6, so we might try to come back there in the morning, but I think the desert's going to be really windy, so we're going to find out. Are a little bit too far south of like the big wide open part of the desert. It also is extremely windy, so we're going to try to find some shelter from the wind up here in these mountains. And yeah, with the fuel situation, we'll see how far we can get. But yeah, Jamie also had to stop because he had water in his fuel, or one of the gauges said so. So he stopped and took care of that. So that took a little bit. So yeah, sun's setting. It's really beautiful out here, and we're gonna go find a place to camp. All right, this is not the worst place in the world to be. Not at all. Came up here trying to find a place to camp. It's still really windy up here, so I have to hold my phone with two hands. So we're gonna go up that direction and see if we can find something that's a little bit more protected. After a very steep climb, we found the perfect place to camp. It was still extremely windy up there, but the views were just so gorgeous we decided to stay. and we used the trucks as a barrier from the wind. And just like the night before, I had my fair share of getting my air mattress into my tent. Mattress is upside down, and this truck does not like to pump when the engine's off, and so I'd have to put my face right there with the exhaust that's, right there. But look it's in place, mostly. The next morning we were greeted by an incredible sunrise, and we knew that this was sadly the last day for us on the Gambler 5000. We would be finally getting out onto the Alvord Desert and maybe doing a couple speed runs and just having a great time working our way back to our home. That's it for another episode of the Bad Ideas Garage. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure and like and subscribe so you can watch our final episode of this epic adventure that we call the Gambler 5000.